The Caribbean looked calm, too calm, flat water stretching to the horizon, sunlight reflecting off the surface like polished glass. No wind, no visible traffic, no reason for alarm. 67 nautical miles off the Venezuelan coast. That calm was already collapsing. At 14:14 hours, the United States Coast Guard cutter Stone cut through international waters on a steady heading. 418 feet of steel, moving with purpose but without escort. Legend-class national security cutter designed for long-endurance patrols, maritime interdiction, and counter-narcotics enforcement. Not for trading fire with state warships. The crew, this was supposed to be routine. Long hours, open ocean law enforcement presence. But the previous 3 days had been anything but routine. In the 72 hours leading up to this moment, Stone had executed a near-continuous series of counter-drug operations. 3 go-fast boats intercepted over 2,400 kilos of cocaine seized. Multiple crews detained. Each interception had followed the same pattern. Night approaches, infrared signatures. Engines disabled, suspects taken alive. Clean, professional, effective. For Washington, it was a success. For certain power brokers inside Venezuela, it was an embarrassment. Those seizures represented more than lost drugs. They represented lost leverage, lost cash flow, and lost credibility. Maritime trafficking routes tied to regime-connected networks had been exposed and disrupted in plain sight, and someone in Caracas decided that silence was no longer acceptable. The horizon changed without warning. 3 contacts emerged from the haze. Hulls dark against the glare. Not merchant ships. Not patrol craft drifting casually. These were military vessels. Moving fast, pushing hard. Their bow waves widening as speed increased. 3 Venezuelan offshore patrol vessels, each displacing roughly 1,800 tons. Each armed with 76mm naval guns, automatic cannons, and surface engagement capability. The formation was tight, deliberate, aggressive. This wasn't a patrol crossing paths. This was a vector on stone. Bridge radar operators watched the contacts close. Speed readings climbed, bearing remained constant. No course correction, no hesitation. The approach wasn't investigative. It was confrontational. The stone broadcast warnings on open maritime channels, clearly identifying itself as a United States Coast Guard cutter, operating lawfully in international waters. Coordinates were transmitted. Status was declared. Intent was made clear. No response came back. The Venezuelan ships kept closing, shrinking the distance with intent. First half, then half again. Their approach wasn't cautious. It wasn't probing. It was aggressive, as if the cutter had no right to exist where it was. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't miscommunication. This was escalation. Before we continue with this operation, if you can take a quick second, YouTube is not the biggest fan of content like this, but we believe people deserve to hear the truth. If you agree, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us beat the algorithm and keep going. We really appreciate the support. At 13:47 local time, those same 3 Venezuelan vessels had departed. La Guaira Naval base under direct orders, combined crew count 183 sailors. Their commanders believed the math was simple. 3 warships versus 1 cutter, operating near waters Caracas claimed as its own sphere of influence. What they underestimated was escalation control. At 14:03, Stone's radar fully resolved the contacts. 3 fast-moving military signatures closing at nearly 30 knots. Range 34 nautical miles. Time to intercept under 1 hour. Inside the cutter, posture changed instantly. Emergency protocols were activated. Weapons teams were called forward. Damage control lockers were opened. The ship transmitted priority notifications up the chain of command. The alert reached U.S. 4th Fleet within minutes. The nearest available warship was the USS Gravely, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, equipped with Aegis combat systems, and Spy-1 radar, 90 vertical launch cells, SM-2 air defense missiles, Tomahawk land attack missiles, and Harpoon anti-ship missiles. Distance mattered. The Gravely was more than 110 nautical miles away. When the situation brief hit the Combat Information Center, there was no debate. The captain ordered flank speed, 32 knots. Turbines pushed to maximum output. The ship surged forward, knowing full well the fight might be decided before arrival. Back on the Stone, The Venezuelan lead ship Guamacudo closed aggressively. At 14:14, it transmitted an ultimatum. Leave Venezuelan waters immediately, or you will be fired upon. The response was immediate and recorded. We are operating in international waters. We will not withdraw. At 14:17, 376mm warning shots detonated in the water ahead of the cutter's bow. Massive columns of spray erupted skyward. The message was unmistakable. The engagement had crossed a line. The Stone went to full battle stations. The 57mm deck gun was energized. 50 caliber machine gun teams locked into mounts. Fire suppression systems were primed. Compartment hatches were sealed. At 14:19, the Venezuelan ships executed a textbook bracketing maneuver. Jaguaraparo starboard. Tamacaco port. Guamacudo forward pressure. The Stone was boxed in. 14:21, the first direct hit landed. A 76mm round slammed into the cutter's stern. Detonating across the deck, communications antennas were destroyed. Equipment was torn free. 3 Coast Guard sailors were injured. Smoke rolled aft. Alarm screamed. The cutter transmitted a mayday. Instead of disengaging, the Venezuelan ships tightened formation, preparing for boarding. They never saw the authorization chain that had already complete. At 14:24, the Stone returned fire. The 57mm gun roared, hammering Guamacudo's superstructure. But the weapon wasn't designed for sustained naval combat. At 14:26, Jaguaraparo fired again. Multiple rounds struck midship. Fire erupted in the galley. 7 sailors injured. Water ingress confirmed. List increasing to 3 degrees port. At 14:32, everything changed. From beyond visual range, the USS Gravely launched 4 Harpoon missiles. Sea skimming, 540 miles per hour. Minimal warning, terminal lethality. At 14:39, the first Harpoon struck Guamacudo. The ship broke apart and sank in under 90 seconds. Jaguaraparo capsized moments later. The third vessel, Tamacaco, powered down, raised a white flag. At 14:43, the engagement ended, 18 minutes from first shot to surrender. 89 Venezuelan sailors were rescued. 33 were dead. 61 detained. No American fatalities. Today, 2 shattered hulls rest on the seafloor, silent reminders of arrogance, miscalculation, and the unforgiving speed of modern naval warfare. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what comes next. Thanks for watching.